Well, tomorrow's transfer of power is far from business as usual. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's inauguration promises to be very different from previous years. Quick Takes Tassine Robbie explains. We're going to get that package for you in just a minute. In the meantime, 2 U.S. National Guard members are being removed from the security mission ahead of Biden's inauguration. Officials are saying the 2 members have been found to have ties to fringe right group militias, though no plot against President-elect Biden has been found. But it's threats exactly like that why we wanted to talk to our next guest, Professor and Department Chair of Sociology at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Robert Futrell. Robert, thanks so much for joining us. You've spent decades studying right-wing militia movements. Are you surprised that members of the National Guard have been found to have these far-right ties?
Not at all. I mean, we've known for quite a while that police forces, military forces are replete with white supremacists, with militia-affiliated members. Of course, not all are, but there's explicit recruitment effort among paramilitary militia groups to bring military members in, which could include National Guard, as well as police officers. And you know, the FBI is known at least since 2006. There's a report that talks about this explicit recruitment. So there's nothing really new or surprising about it for folks who have been tracking this.
But I think what is new and surprising is the fact that it's become more and more mainstream, right? I mean, what is the change here? We saw people with far-right ties. Look at these pictures right here. This is from January 6th. We saw people with far-right ties infiltrate the Capitol.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's become more mainstream, more normalized. But this has been happening for at least the past 4 years, 5 years since the prior presidential campaign. They felt emboldened. They felt they have a charismatic leader in Donald Trump, and that's been proven time and time again. And so for the Capitol riots to have happened, you know, it's horrific. But again, it's not surprising, both in the short term because many of these networks were calling for it, but also in the long term because these attitudes have been ginned up for several years now. And it's ginning up out of a robust culture that already existed among militia, anti-government groups, as well as white supremacists.
So you mentioned that the president has emboldened these groups. What specifically about what he's done, or perhaps what he hasn't done, has emboldened these groups over the last few years?
Yeah, a lot of it is what he hasn't done. They didn't respond strongly to Charlottesville and the Unite the Right rally early in his term. And in fact, he said there were good people on all sides. We know this as one of his responses. And the responses within those networks were he did not call us out. He's with us. And from there, it just keeps going forward. The presidential debates where he tells the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. I mean, these are clear signaling, at least to the people receiving it, and it doesn't halt it. It grows the anxiousness and the efforts to, you know, sort of engage in these public actions that are shocking to many, but certainly comes out of a culture that's been promoted at the highest level.
Is this the new normal that we as Americans are going to have to live with? That there have been far-right groups growing, becoming the new normal? Is this just going to grow, or do you see this going away?
It ebbs and flows. I've heard the question termed a little differently. Is this a beginning or is it an end? And there is no beginning or end. This has been with us in some ways since the founding of the country. And the mobilization part ebbs and flows over time, and we can track that. So no, it's not going away. It might recede from public life to an extent, and it will reemerge. But the most important thing is to take it seriously. This is, you know, when you've been studying this for so long and you talk to people about it in these various periods, there is a clear sense that many people do not take this seriously, and that may still happen after what happened at the Capitol. But we have to take it seriously, both for officials and authorities, but also for the public.
Professor and Department Chair of Sociology at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Robert Futrell. Professor, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.